Wow, it's been a few months, but I'm back. Hey, wait. Does something feel off here? Oh my god, I'm 3D. As an artist, sometimes you get that itch to do something different. You hit art block and just don't want to do anything at all in the specific trade you create in. So you jump into something else like baking or sculpting. For me lately, it's been 3D art, and I like to think I've gotten pretty good at it. Don't look at that one model back there. It was a first attempt. When I was a wee lad, I drew constantly, with no breaks, and I tried everything. Sculpting, watercolor paintings, you name it. I still have a few of these to this day. But one thing I always had a fascination with was voice acting. I would sit there watching Undertale comic dubs and FNAF comic dubs thinking, I could do that too. I just needed a mic. Lucky for me, I already had one of those things down. When I first started out with YouTube, I didn't really do much with voiceovers, so I didn't ever really invest in trying to get a microphone for a long time. If any of my videos had my own voice, it would be because I would record it on my phone or on my really old video camera, which those videos don't exist anymore. So what did I do to start making comic dubs, you might be asking? I used my one-of-a-kind rock band microphone. No, that's not a joke at all. I genuinely used one of these things for like 2 years plus until I got my first actual microphone, which was a tiny little blue Yeti that survived from like 2015 to 2020 before it just failed on me. But Quill, I hear you ask, where are all these comic dubs you've made now? Well, all of them are sadly lost besides a few from 2015 that were absolutely awful, and I will not put you through seeing those ever again. But most of my old content got deleted around 2019 because my dumbass teenager brain went, this is so cringy, I don't want people to know that I made bad comic dubs and animations, I'll never miss these. I very much regretted that impulsive choice of completely deleting them, instead of just privating them, or downloading them onto a hard drive. Especially the animations, because that's a section of my art journey I will never get again. However, despite that, there was one comic dub that survived. One little comic dub that still lingers on one tiny corner of the internet on a completely forgotten account. But to talk about that comic, we need to talk about the artist behind that comic. If anyone was around during the FNAF era of 2014, then you would at least be familiar with a lot of the popular artists around. And I do want to give a bit of a warning for who this artist is because, they are not a good person, and a lot of us who are either friends or part of the community around them have a lot of bad memories and trauma associated with them. And well, would you look at that, I was one of those people! During my era of making comic dubs, I had started becoming mutuals with this artist right before things started to come out about them in regards to how they treated their friends. Which, honestly, is a little terrifying to think about because I was 17 during all of that. But with that little introduction and warning, well, this artist is most well known by the username Rabornica. Ugh, even just saying the name makes my skin crawl. I had made a couple of comic dubs with their FNAF comics back in 2016 for a bit, before retiring the microphone and focusing more on art again. That was until I discovered they had started to make comics on Twitter, with their OCs. You know, fame is an odd thing, especially when it's on the internet. Sometimes it's caused by a stupid video you made to share with friends that went viral, and sometimes people will know what you've done, but not that it was made by you. And that's what happened with my comic dubs of their OCs, and I had no idea until I happened to be in a casual Discord call with the Rabornica and some other fans in an old and forgotten about Discord server. We had just been chatting and joking around, and I casually slipped into a voice that I had been doing for one of their OCs. Probably because I just finished working on a comic dub, or just finished saving the images for it. And everyone sort of just immediately recognized the voice and who I was because of that. Which when you're 17 is a very surreal thing. I was 17! The most recognition I had gotten at the time was from the OP community and the Eddsworld community. And those were very small specific corners of those said communities. And without realizing it, I was the cause of an entire headcanon for one of the characters that ended up turning canon. And to some, I was considered the official voice of this one weird little OC. And now you might be wondering, which of their OCs was it? Was it one of the female characters? One of the more feminine, androgynous characters just based off of my voice? No. It was the insane little lizard brain dress-wearing clown, Yes Man. See, if I were to add a robotic filter to my voice and changed up the tone of my, voice, those of you who are part of the community would probably instantly remember my dumb little comic dub. And boy did I make a lot of them! I would sit there in my tiny bedroom with my Rock Band microphone, Audacity, and fucking Windows Movie Maker, voicing all of the characters on every page that I could get my tiny little hands on just to have fun voicing them, and somehow those videos got popular. It's honestly weird looking back at it, because so much could have happened and changed if I had kept up with making them. Who knows what could have happened then, especially with all that happened with the artists who made them. It sucks, because their OCs really resonated with people. I know they did with me. And yet, from what I know, they've faded into obscurity, or some weird corner of the internet where Rabornica still lurks, if they even go online anymore. Part of me wishes that they ended up being given to the community like their old FNAF AU, before they decided to reboot it and make the marionette Mike Schmidt's mother and kept Purple Guy, aka in lore William Afton, aka in the AU, Vincent, Mike's dad. Which makes everything weird if you know anything about FNAF lore, especially with who the marionette is. A child? But I regress. Regardless if I miss drawing the characters or even voicing them, I'm glad it was just part of my past, and that despite all of the trauma from it, at least the comic dubs and the friend group I gained from it were the best parts of it. And the fondest memories I have from then. I don't think I'll ever go back to doing comic dubs, but hey, if anyone from back then managed to save or archive the dubs I made, feel free to send them my way. I'd love to look back at them and remember a simpler time from my channel's history. If you guys like more chilled out content like this, where I just sit and talk about my journey as a creative, let me know in the comments and I'll try to include them more. This was a lot of fun to do, and it's nice to sit back and make something simple in between larger projects. It's also my first time scripting a video fully, so I hope it turned out better than my last couple of commentary-styled videos. I'm working on a pretty big video on how I learned 3D, but it's gonna take a while since I lost a lot of the footage I had for it, but that'll come eventually. Thanks for sticking around to the end, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye guys!